Welcome to Cairo and its rich cacophony of sonic chaos.
Are you getting the music?
Yeah. Today we're going on a street food tour with Mia, the co-founder of Bellies en Route, which gives authentic food tours and cooking classes in Cairo. Mia is Egyptian, but first came to really appreciate and love her country's food culture as an adult. Now, she and her team are spreading the love through these brilliant food tours. I can highly recommend going on a tour of theirs if you're in Cairo. I'll post a link to their website in the description of this episode.
And they run their entire operation through this very tiny space. And when it's kind of, peak time, it is crowded. Like there are just people coming in. They're relatively inexpensive.
Any street food tour in Cairo inevitably starts with the country's main staple, fool and taameya. Fool is a stew made from slow-cooking fava beans, as Mia is about to explain. Taameya is Egypt's version of falafel, but whereas falafel is made from chickpeas, taameya is made from fool or fava beans. We begin at Borai, a hole in the wall in the Bab el-Lut neighborhood of downtown Cairo.
So we actually do not make our taameya, or what everyone calls falafel, with chickpeas, which is the common ingredient in most Levantine falafel. We actually use the fava beans. Some people also call them broad beans or flat beans. But fava beans are a huge, huge part of our dietary culture. They're a staple. We eat them for breakfast, you can eat them for lunch, you can eat them for dinner. And because Egyptians consume so much fava beans, we actually have to import from Australia to keep up with demand.
Oh my God. Picture a pita bread, but made from a kind of sourdough. That's Egypt's highly subsidized bread, known simply as beledi bread or local bread. These are cut in half and filled with a pureed fool. Plain fool is slightly bitter, a taste that the Lebanese, for example, mask through excessive amounts of olive oil, lemon, and garlic. Egyptian fool, however, embraces the bitterness, although a wide range of spices and aromatics are added, chief among them cumin. Delicious.
We usually cook them in these very particular types of pot called the mesa.
With a long neck.
Yes, it has a very, not long neck, it has an okay sized length neck, but it's narrow.
It's narrow,
but it's
right,
very, very bulbous.
And why that form?
So that it can trap the steam.
Right. Okay.
So it's kind of like an exit way for the steam, so it doesn't boil over, but at the same time, it's almost just kind of like, a way to release pressure, kind of like a pressure cooker. It's not kind of, you could say it's a pressure cooker.
Sure. Okay.
So there's a lot of steam, there's a lot of boiling the beans. The beans are usually cooked on a very, very low heat for maybe, I would say 9 to 10 hours.
Wow.
Yes. And then the result you get is a very kind of like soft, silky bean. It's very easily pureed. And then we eat it in a lot of different ways. So the way we're going to be eating it now is the very traditional way. So you got your, like a little bit of sunflower oil, salt, lime, a bit of cumin, a bit of tahina with our Egyptian beledi bread, which is very similar to, it's not a sourdough bread, but it is made with a similar starter.
Yeah, right. This is really good. Next up, taameya, the Egyptian falafel, which, according to Mia, was invented by Egyptian Christian Copts. Now, make of that what you will.
Actually, and I'm sorry to say this, but actually, falafel is originally Egyptian.
Okay. Okay, tell me.
And it was actually invented by the Copts, Egyptian Copts, because, of course, during their fasting seasons, they have to maintain a vegetarian diet. And you can imagine how difficult it would be to eat the same thing every day. So this was just kind of like their way of creating variety in their meals.
I just bit into the taameya, and it's really good. It's really good. There's like a lot of dill in this, which I really like.
And this is also, excuse me, a huge distinction between Egyptian falafel and other Middle Eastern kind is that, number one, we use the fava bean. We usually use the crushed and peeled parts of the fava bean. Some people confuse them with chickpeas because they're yellow, but they're not. Yeah. We also add a lot of greens. So there's parsley, there's coriander, there's sal or Swiss chard, there's onion, there's garlic, and you can tell like how it's a beautiful green, like, you know, herby bite.
Yeah.
It's just delicious. I absolutely love it.
Crispy on the outside, soft on the inside. Yeah, it tastes so fresh, you know.
It's
like
different.
it's very different. Yeah.
All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
بتكلم جد ما تقولش لحد بتكلم جد ما تقولش لحد ده أنا قلبي وليد.
The next stop of the tour is coffee. On the way, Mia reflects on living in Cairo for all its problems with poverty, pollution, lack of civic rights and freedoms, harassment of women. Mia simply cannot leave. I can relate to that.
But for me, growing up, I was kind of like, why are we still living here? Now, I don't think I could live anywhere else. Like, I don't think I could leave ever.
Yeah.
No matter how chaotic or how many issues I might face. But at the same time, there's always like this small part of me that's like, I can't do this anymore, I must leave.
Yeah.
But when I'm presented with the opportunity, I'm like, nope, I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it.
I get that. Coffee is huge in Egypt. It's roasted in various ways and blended with various spices, but it's always served in the Turkish style. Since mastering the method of making Turkish coffee at home, that's all I drink. Bun Werdet Yemen, the coffee shop we're at in Cairo, gave us a sneak peek at the process of roasting and blending coffee.
So this shop is almost 100 years old. It's been here since 1925.
And it means, Bun Werdet Yemen means?
Bun of the coffee beans of the flour of Yemen. And it's very interesting because if you look at a lot of these like authentic coffee roasters around downtown, most of them will have Yemen incorporated into them some way. And why? Because this is where the majority of the Middle Easterners got their coffee. So Yemen is where coffee grew and thrived. And of course, the entire area of the Middle East, mostly tribes, moving around. Again, the story goes that a farmer saw his goats eating a bean, and then the goats went absolutely insane, and he was
hyper-focused.
Yeah, and then he was like,
They finally finished their thesis.
"What is? Yeah, what is that?"
That's just raw coffee beans.
This has been lightly roasted.
Okay.
So they lightly roasted because you know how we talked about how they roasted in the sun to dry it. So also that drying process and the heat releases the oils.
Okay.
So they do lightly roast it just to kind of, you know, release the oils. And then they also roast the cardamom.
Yeah.
You know, as you should.
Sure.
And
Great smell in here.
yeah. And they have the grinders. So these are the grinders of the coffee with the cardamom in silver. And then these are the coffee grinders of the coffee without any like added flavors in red, because, you know, color coding is a great way to not get confused. And I'm just...
Next stop, juice. Egypt is known for its great variety of fruits and juices. You've truly never had mango until you've had one of the 200 varieties of Egyptian mangoes. You can find juice bars all over the city in Cairo, and the way most people drink it is by stopping by a bar and ordering a juice out of a glass pint jug with a handle, which most Westerners would associate with beer. The juice is then drunk on the spot, very quickly at the bar, and then you move on. But today we're getting a selection of Egyptian fruit juice served in shot glasses. Oh wow! Look at a shot array of Egyptian shots. First up, sugarcane, another Egyptian staple.
So sugarcane is the national drink of Egypt.
And in Arabic it's...
Also. And what it is essentially, it's just the sugarcane squeezed, so it is sugar juice.
Yeah.
But you would be surprised, it is not actually that sweet.
Right, yeah.
It's not that sweet at all.
Next up is tamarind, tamar hindi, meaning Indian date in Arabic.
Second type of very, very popular Egyptian juice is tamarind.
Yes.
Tamarind is also popular in Asian countries, but they use but they also use tamarind syrup and they use it to cook, which I
Right.
think is very interesting. We drink it. I love tamarind juice. It is very popular during Ramadan.
And tamarind comes from the Arabic word tamar hindi, which
Tamar
means
hindi, yes. In Arabic we call it tamar hindi.
Indian date.
Yes, but in English it's tamarind, and that's
Right.
what we use to explain it. I love tamarind juice.
Cheers.
It has a very nice savory aftertaste, which I love. It's like the perfect sweet,
Whoa.
sour,
Yeah, I love it because it's sour.
yeah.
And I'm obsessed with like really sour candy, but it's so
really?
bad for you. So this kind of
Yeah.
is like, you know, it just has that like really intense sour flavor that I love.
I love it. I absolutely love
Now
it.
to the love of my life, the mango. Mangoes are not endemic to Egypt and were first imported from India. But the mango has thrived in Egypt's climate, and the sweltering summer heat in Cairo is made slightly more tolerable when eating a piece of sweet, ripe mango that's been cooling down in the refrigerator all day.
Actually, our mango production is one of the best in the world.
Yeah.
And we have actually managed to cultivate and breed over 32 different kinds of mango. And we have a mango festival every year. Most mangoes usually grow in Ismailia. A lot of Egyptians actually go to Ismailia specifically to buy mangoes. There are a lot of mango farms there that have day trips and tours for you to go buy mango, look at the mango trees, etc. We have a rule here though. You have to drink your mango juice chunky.
Right. We went on to try strawberry, hibiscus, cantaloupe juice, as well as sobia, made from coconut and powdered milk. All these juices were amazing, with strawberry being my personal favorite. Come to Egypt, guys. Drink juice. Do it now.
بتكلم جد ما تقولش لحد بتكلم جد ما تقولش لحد
From the juice bar in Babilou, we made our way to another hole-in-the-wall establishment for yet another Egyptian classic, molokheyya, a stew made from finely chopped molokheyya leaves, known in English as jute mallow or Jew's mallow, the name giving rise to the theory that it was the Jews of ancient Egypt who initially ate the dish. Later, a pharaoh of Egypt was smitten by the stew's distinct flavor and adopted it for the royal court. Melech in Hebrew, melek in Arabic means king, molokheyya or molokheyya meaning royal. The stew had now become associated with the kings and the pharaohs. This is just one of countless theories about the origins of the food. Another theory is that the Hyksos people that invaded ancient Egypt and made its inhabitants eat what they thought was poisonous leaf, molokheyya meaning roughly eat the leaf in the Hyksos language. When it turned out not to be poisonous, the Egyptians managed to oust the Hyksos invaders, and molokheyya was then adopted as a national dish. Whatever the truth is, molokheyya is delicious, a green, herby stew with a healthy helping of fried garlic, usually served with chicken or rabbit.
It's something that any Egyptian, this is probably the first thing we're fed as babies when the doctor's like, yes, your child may now have solid food, because it's slippery.
Yeah,
So the food just slides down.
it does, yeah.
And it's very nutritious. There's a lot of vitamin C, there's a lot of iron in there and minerals. It's a really, really, really
What
healthy
garlic?
dish. Well, yes, garlic is a vitamin.
Our next stop is a personal favorite of mine, the legendary Abu Tariq restaurant on Champollion Street, named after the French philologist who deciphered Egyptian hieroglyphics and read Coptic, ancient Greek, Latin, Hebrew, and Arabic. In Arabic, his name is pronounced Champollion, and his name is spelled in 4 different ways depending on which street sign you read. Abu Tariq restaurant serves koshary, the national dish of the Egyptian working class. At first glance, it looks like a bowl of pasta with tomato sauce, but it's so much more than that. A concoction of rice, lentils, vermicelli, macaroni, spaghetti, and chickpeas, topped with tomato sauce, garlic vinegar, chili oil, and crispy fried onions. Abu Tariq is the ultimate koshary restaurant. The owner's charming and kitschy photograph hangs all over the 6-story establishment, decked out with bright green LED lights and surrealist chandeliers.
This is a 5, almost 6, floor establishment. It is packed all the time, and not just with tourists, Egyptians. It is always crowded, and the koshary is always fresh. You saw the amount of steam coming out of the sauce. It is just always good. It's consistent.
Our waiter, dressed in a white shirt and tie and a hairnet, goes on to give a colorful demonstration of how to properly mix and apply the sauces to the koshary. To my non-Arabic speakers, try to enjoy the rhythm and rhyme of the Egyptian dialect.
بهارات ايه؟ البهارات دي عباره عن ملح وكمون وفلفل اسود. تمام. حط شويه سبايسي صغيرين. تمام. بس اللي الشطه نار عندي مش هزار. تمام. دقه ثوم وخل وليمون، خش بالدقه اوعى معاليك تقول له لا. بهارات جايه من الامارات. ليمون يخضر العيون، ليمون فريش. ايوه. صوص. شويه مجوهرات. واحلى حاجه تنزل اخر حاجه البصل طبعا بالعافيه على قلبك. ايوه الله يخليك شكرا.
And for the final stop on this food tour.
All right, are you ready for some fried cow brain?
بتكلم جد ما تقولش لحد بتكلم جد ما تقولش لحد.
We walk through downtown Cairo where the sun is set and the city's coming alive. At Midan al-Tawfiqiyya, we stop at yet another hole in the wall specialized in fried liver and cow brain. Absolutely delicious food packed with nutrients. The brain is served like chicken strips, deep fried in a rich batter. Incredible.
This is fried cow brain. It's breaded with flour and spices. There's like dried coriander and cumin. It's fried. And you might ask, like, what sort of texture does it have? It's very similar to fried oysters.
Ah,
Yeah. And they're like just soft chicken nuggets.
fantastic. Cheers.
Really good. And you might be asking, why? And I ask you, why not?
And with that, our tour of street food in Cairo has come to an end. After all that food, I needed a drink, and so walked over to the Hurriya Cafe for an ice-cold Stella, Egyptian's national lager. After a day spent walking through the city in 40-plus degree heat, there's nothing like it. Thank you for listening to this feature special of Kalam podcast. Until next time, peace.